when it happens, you got to capitalize and put in more work even harder.
I make sure that I got my ducks in a row before I announce anything, and I make sure that if I fail, it's gonna be on me.
It's a fact, and there's gold producers and platinum who are literally cooking up beats on an iPad, you know, on GarageBand. So what VSTs and what equipment are we talking then, you know?
I used to chase placements. I would rather make beats for my friends and come up with them and grow with them.
When it comes to luxury, I think of having the luxury of time, of freedom, of choice, of, you know, like that's a luxury to me.
Check, 1, 2. What is up with y'all? Season motherfucking 2. You already know it's your boy 215 God Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this. Producer's new favorite podcast. Season 2. Let Me Rap With You. First episode, season 2. Once again, thank you to everybody who tuned into all 12 episodes of season 1, including the bonus episode with my guy Vanish. Shout out to Vanish for the Halloween episode. But you know, new season, and you know, today on this day, you know, your boy birthday. You know, season 1 starting, your boy birthday. That's, I feel like, the best way to start it, you feel me? So, you know, but, you know, besides that, before we get into our very special guest that's actually sitting here live with us for the very first episode of season 2, this podcast is sponsored by Demolier. You know, think you dripping. You ain't dripping till you come shop with us. You know, make sure you get my guy Smash 215 at Demolier Shop on Instagram. DEMOLIR Shop, no underscore, no none of that. Y'all already know this by now. We on season 2. This podcast is also sponsored by Major Loops. You know, looking for placement-worthy sounds. Drums, 808s, loops, samples, construction kits, all you need. You know, shout out my guy Rory Lux. You know, we got that all at majorloops.com. You feel me? You know, if you try and get that next placement, get that next hit, you already know. Make sure you tune in. Also, you know, and shout out to my homie DeMine from episode 9, season 1. This podcast is also sponsored by No Rival Shop. You know, make sure you get my guy DeMine, you know, for, you know, your new gear for No Rivals. 10th collection coming soon. You feel me? So, but we just lit, and since he's with me, the intro segment, there isn't going to be no intro segment because we got one and only Philadelphia's own rising up and coming producer Mod Beats in the building. What's up with you, bro?
What's good, bro? How you, man?
Not much, man. Long time, man. Should have been on season 1, but hey, what can you do?
Man. You know, life happens, man. It's cool. Life happens.
For anybody, actually, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all a briefing. This guy is the reason why I'm a producer today. First of all, so we gonna actually. I think I'm gonna break it down to the weekend that it actually happened. So here's what happened. It was one weekend. This is when I was still rapping, and this nigga called me. He told me like, "Yo, bro, like, yo, come to the crib. I got a surprise." So I'm thinking, you know, bottles, weed, some shit like that, you know, on that type time. So as soon as I walk in the crib, I'm thinking, you know, like, yo, what's the plan? He telling me like,
because we always used to turn up, man.
This nigga tell me, bro, I make beats now. How many beats you had in the folder when I walked in? You had like 20 beats in that folder, like.
I had a good like 30, bro.
Fucking
30.
Crazy. Like as soon as I walk, you tell me the shit, I'm like, what? Like, bro, I was so fucking pissed, like, when you told me that shit. Like, bro, that shit was so fucking crazy. Like,
man, what really started it, man, I started making beats like high school, you know. I had a homie who got me into that shit, so what happened was, he was like, bro, I make beats, because, you know, we was rapping at first, and I was like, what? I'm like, bro, you gotta teach me how to do that shit. So my man hooked me up with FL, you know what I mean, taught me the little basics, the ropes. After that, I just took off, you know what I mean? So, that's what really started it for real, and I've stuck to it ever since.
Man, people don't know, like, before I found this shit out, like, a lot of shit that I was doing, I was just doing covers, remixes. Any song that was out, I was killing every drum, like, and he'll tell you because he already knew. Like we've been family way before like I found out this nigga started making beats and shit. But like, what was the first song? What was it? Dumb It Down, right?
I think so, yeah. That was the first joint.
Dumb It Down, yeah. That was like.
Yeah, I wish we still had that shit in the crate.
Bro, I got that, bro. I got all the shit in the crate.
Like, known, bro. You keep
like
everything.
That shit right in the closet, like on the like right on the right, and that shit's sitting right in the closet. But like, actually speaking to that, like, man, speaking of the days, like, Ma was also the co-founder of the Next Entertainment movement, which was the label that I had previously before World of Metropolis. You know, definitely, cause like, you know, like the label isn't like, you know, official no more, but the family is still, you know, family's still family. Shout out to T.S. Muller, shout out to H.Y.P.e, shout out to Parquisio, shout out to Steve, shout out to Eli Noble.
Shout out to H.Y.P.e, shout out to Eli. What's up with y'all?
Man, no, I actually just talked to him. I think a few weeks ago. He's looking to do an EP with somebody. I was thinking about good old family reunion, like not even on no like let's get the label back together type shit, but like just like yo, like let's fucking
get together and just create some shit.
Yeah, because actually what I'm planning to do, cause like for my birthday, besides the album that's dropping for my birthday today, and shit, I also got a lot of the old Next Ent stuff coming back on all platforms. I'm just making sure that, like, you know, I made sure that you know, I got H.Y.P.e's email and stuff so everybody can get like splits and stuff. Right. So, and then like it's a couple Johns that you produced for Fifth. That you produced that we
Shout
had.
Shout out to Fifth, man.
Yeah, that we had. You know, that he actually changed his name to T.S. Muller. That's the crazy part. But like, it's some drawings that you had did for him that we had never released. That I'm actually like, it's gonna be some unreleased like Mod Beats shit.
He's still rapping, right? Of course. We gotta link up, man. Cause he got those bars.
Man, you know, he got our goddaughters and stuff. You feel me, bro? But besides that, like, cause like, I say we really started catching up during our teenage years. Was before our teenage years, before we really got to catch up and shit. Like, was music really an influence even before we met?
Yeah, man. I mean, I always been like, you know, man. I used to drum on tables and shit when I was younger. You know what I mean? Mom used to be like, knock that shit off, shit like that in class. But now I had always had like a musical influence. You know what I mean? And then that's when, you know what I mean, me and you linked up, and I heard you was rapping. Because I always wanted to rap, I just never had the resources, you feel me? So that shit was crazy, but like, when I first, you know what I mean, when we first, I was in the car with my peoples, when we was listening to your tape, we was just like, damn, this nigga crazy, like, this nigga, he doing something, you know what I mean? So that shit kind of pushed me more, you know what I mean? Once we became tight, and you started pushing me with that shit, you know what I mean?
Man, I had my name in high school because of you, for real. Because like, what was it? I Dumb It Down, but like laid back and draw that out. The second draw that I dropped that you produced this shit, like that's what I'm saying. Like that shit crazy. Like it's crazy how production like, and it's crazy like everybody's sitting here like, you know, what did he had to do with me making beats? So here's the second half to that. Once I found out this nigga started making beats on the low key, like I didn't show it to him, I was low key jealous of this nigga. I was sitting in my house like, this nigga makes beats. I'm rapping on beats. He making them. So it's like, y'all seeing how I'm looking at it. So it's like, so I'm saying like,
I'm thinking we gonna be a duo. You know what I mean? On some Lil Muk shit, or something. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking we was gonna do some shit like that.
You started running the whole Next Ent thing.
Yeah.
Started co-producing like everybody's projects and shit.
Facts.
It's like, and you're featured on So Amped. That was probably one of the tracks that really put the team on the span. Like when they found out you rap, like, oh shit.
Right.
Like, Russia, I still got a couple of unreleased like my Jones. Y'all probably ain't never gonna hear them Jones. I'm gonna keep it a beat. Y'all ain't never gonna fucking hear them Jones for shit. So it's like, you feel me? But it's like, you know, like I said, like it's a new season. You know, it's new beginnings, and you know, it's so much that, you know, and we're gonna bring it up during the episode, but you know, with new beginnings, you know, because we're gonna explain, you know, the whole how did, you know, we split ends and then coming back to where we are today. So, and the one thing I'm gonna support you for, because like, you know, like I ain't take the route. You took the route of going to college. We actually did, what was our freshman or our sophomore year in college? I forgot what year it was,
Freshman
but like
and sophomore, yeah.
that
half
was
a sophomore, freshman, half a sophomore.
yeah, that like my sophomore year of college was the year when I dropped out and shit, and like that's when I just like went my own way and I just said like fuck it, like I'm just gonna do this music shit and just like figure this shit out and all that. You know, still working the 9 to 5 and all that, but you know, I'm just gonna figure this shit out low key and all that. But at the same time, you know, he still stayed focused on the school route. Like you stayed focused, and that's the one thing I really gotta give you credit for. And like, you know, a lot of producers, you know, they sit here and they struggle with trying to balance school or trying to balance work with their, you know, production time, but you're still coming up with lit shit, you're still coming out with hot beats and all that. You're still, you know, even if sales aren't coming consistently every day, you still got a sale coming left and right. And when somebody cops that beat, and this is the one thing I like about your shit that's different from other producers, even with me. Sometimes rappers will lease beats, John's probably still sit on the shelf, you feel me?
Right.
So what I like about your beats, most of the time that a producer, when a rapper lease your shit, every time I see that shit happen, they always wind up rapping on that shit, and that shit will probably drop. Whether even if it's just on SoundCloud, like
right.
not even if it don't hit all platforms, like I just been seeing like you've been just hitting like the underground left and right, even with your time balancing school, balancing work and all that. So like, what's some advice that you can really give producers to, you know, help them stay motivated through that shit?
Shit, man, I know a lot of producers that's like struggling with the school and the beats, and I don't, you know what I mean, if you ain't in school, I don't knock you, you know what I mean, school ain't for everybody, like, that shit ain't for everybody, but one thing that I do, I just try to prioritize myself. I just try to make time for what I want to do, because I know, man, I'm trying to pursue a future in this shit, so I just try to make time for my own hobbies, you know what I mean, the beat shit. Sometimes I'll be working on schoolwork all fucking day, get to the beats at like 2 a.m., 2 a.m., and gotta wake up at 8 a.m. for class. It's just all about the dedication and how bad you want it for real, you know what I mean? Like, if you really want that shit, you gonna make time for it, you know what I mean? Just like, for example, if you want a shorty, you see a shorty you really want, you gonna make time for it, you know what I mean? So it's like, same shit, man, like, that's all I can really say, just make time for what you want, you know what I mean?
Man, for sure. And like, you know, like I'm just starting to learn how to really like, you know, all I really have is a 9 to 5. So like, I got that. As soon as I get off, either I'm doing the podcast or like I'm just, you know, working with artists. Cause like, you know, my thing is, even if I'm not selling beats, like I got like, my thing right now is like collaborating is like very important right now in my aspect. So like even sometimes, and I noticed you did this back before before the collaboration game was really a thing. I noticed you started doing this with like just underground rappers, if I remember, because you had stayed in touch with me during the time, because I think I was in the studio with H.Y.P.e during the time, and you and Keith was out on the West Coast. You was out in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't remember the artist's name, but he was in the Las Vegas underground. He was in the Las Vegas underground, and you was set.
Shout out to Nick Crucial.
Yeah, Nick Crucial. You told me you was out there. You was, you know, you had slid him a couple joints, so you know he had showed you some love and all that. So, are you still working with him to this day?
Yeah, I mean, I produced first track on his tape he just released probably about a couple months ago. And he trying to come out with a new project, so best believe I'm trying to get some footwork on there. We still keep in touch, we still cool. That's my guy for real. Make sure y'all check him out, Nick Crucial.
Also, and you know, shout out to family, cause like when I first started listening to him, you know, cause it was killing shit. Shout out to Mizzy Raw, fucking.
Oh yeah.
You know that's
Shout
blood.
out to Mizzy Raw, man.
That's
blood.
that's
right
blood.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's actual blood, right?
That's blood right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I seen you at you had really started with him too before you really started getting into the internet game. This is before you got into the internet game selling beats, and that's why I was telling producers on the last couple of episodes, like something that's important is like just building, even if you're not on the internet selling beats just yet.
Right.
If you out just like on the internet or Twitter or Instagram, whatever, just like building with people, like just build some shit, make some shit, and just like add that to your resume.
Right.
Just so like because when people come back to you, even though you're not selling beats consistently, if a rapper tell you who have you worked with, you got a catalog that goes back.
Exactly.
Like we in 2020, this catalog goes back to when we in high school, 2011, 2012, and all that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, what would be your advice to producers about really just connecting with artists, even if it's not about the beat sale, even if it's like not
On some work and shit.
Yeah.
Just to like, if you really fuck with that artist, man, like, do it because you really fuck with that artist. You know what I mean? I would just say, man, if you connecting with those artists, man, keep in touch with them because you never know where they gonna go. You never know when they about to blow, what they about to do. And if they fuck with your beats, man, keep that shit going. That's all I really gotta say about that.
Keep that shit consistent, even if the shit, cause like that's the one thing, like your beats just get better by the day. Even if niggas not buying that shit, like your beats just be getting better by the day. And I notice like you still take the upload everyday consistent route, even though your beats are high quality bangers, drums, melodies, everything on 200, everything on a beat.
Right.
You still stick with the everyday upload, like you just starting. Like what's your intake on that? Like you feel like you should keep going even when like you got a couple of spots and all that?
I mean, yeah, man, always never get too comfortable. I feel like getting too comfortable, you're gonna start to fall off. Yeah, I've seen it happen before. Actually, I got too comfortable before during my, like, I'll say junior year of school. You know what I mean? I was focused on school a lot. I was ready to quit making beats. You know what I mean? I was ready to just stop. And then I just had I had a good support system. Like all my folks, it was like, keep going with that shit because you got talent. So I picked it back up and I've just been consistent ever since. And I've been doing the upload route every day, man. Like that's just something consistent that I do because eventually some artists gonna start to notice. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, not even artists. I noticed that a couple of I noticed that a podcast before mine had noticed your talents.
Mm-hmm.
You had a podcast. You did the intro for a podcast, if I remember.
Right. Yeah, I did. I did an intro for a couple podcasts, and it don't even gotta be like with an artist. Like it could be anybody. Like I sell beats for people that need it for their YouTube channel. That like girls that want to promote makeup, hair, whatever. Like I do beats for that, movies, scripts, whatever, commercials, anything. I mean, you can get $1 all ways. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And also, I seen that one of the DaBaby producers have noticed your work, and I seen y'all had gotten a couple of work. And
shout out to 20. I got 20 on my beat. Shout out to 20. Shout out to Steven.
Yeah, how did that actually come about?
Shit, I was just on Instagram one day. And, some producers they genuine. They'll give you a chance. They'll go live and they do critiques. They want to hear your beat, and they'll be like, you could work with them. So I fuck with I got 20 on my beat. You know what I mean? He be putting out bangers. So I was like, you know what? Why not? I'm gonna send my beat in. So I sent a couple beats. They played it on the live, and then they've been rocking with me ever since. You know what I mean? They just been fucking with everything I've been putting out, and eventually I kept submitting my beats, and they was just like, you know what, send us some shit, man, send us some beats so we can send it to DaBaby, Stunner, whoever. Mm-hmm. So I took advantage of that opportunity and I just sent everybody some beats, and that's how that came about.
Now, and the one thing I've been noticing, because I pay attention to not only the underground, but I pay attention to the industry as well, and their selection of beats every time they drop an album, every time they drop a deluxe album, I'll pay attention to their selection of beats.
Right.
So the one thing that I was going to ask you, when you had got put in this opportunity, did you make DaBaby and like Stunner for Vegas type beats, or did you try to stick to like, I'm gonna try to make this form, that form?
I did both, cause I know a lot of people. If they make that type of beat, they don't want to hear that type of beat. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear that shit.
They listen to that. They listen to beats like that every day.
Exactly. So I did both. I'm a versatile beat maker. I can make any type of beat. So I sent them DaBaby type vibes. I sent them Big Sean type vibes. I sent them Lil Baby type vibes. Anything. You know what I mean? And they was rocking with it. You know what I mean? I feel like as a producer sometimes you gotta be all around, because if not, you'll only attract the same type of artists. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it's good to be versatile. You know what I mean? It's good to spread your compensation like that.
For sure, because, you know, speaking of DaBaby, you know, when I heard the deluxe blaming on DaBaby, you know, a lot of producers, they had their opinion like, yo, like, what was up with DaBaby when he was picking these beats? Exactly. When I had said my opinion, I said, well, he just wanted to do something different for once. Like, right. To me, the shit's lit. And that's what I like about not only the new underground, but also some of the new industry, even like the mainstream. They'll even notice, like, when they're trying to be different, they'll see an underground producer, or like even somebody that they're working with some new people.
Right.
They'll hear that new sound and be like, oh, I gotta get with that. So it's good to, you know, not only, it's good to make the type beats, it's good to know that you can make their type beats, because you never know, they might want to get back in that zone one day and be like, yo, I gotta go back in that mode. Like, you know, you good. Like,
you know what? I just seen a joint on Instagram, somebody commented on Uzi joint and was like, go back to that 2016, 2017 shit. And he was like, alright. You know what I mean? That was different, because if you listen to his beats then and beats now, they kind of similar, but they kind of different. You know, you feel me? So
To me, it's like this. Every artist, every producer, not even that. Let's podcast fans, let's up the ante on this conversation. When I look at New Beginnings isn't just you learning your lessons about the mistakes, and then it's like, okay, now it's time to do this.
Right.
It's also about evolution. You still take the pros of what you did, and you run with that, and you still
turn that some bigger shit.
Exactly. Just keep level up with that shit. You feel me? So it's like, at the same time, you know, the way I look at that is like, whether you're a producer, whether you're a rapper, singer, rock star, fashion designer, video, like photography, it don't matter what you do. Evolution, leveling up, all that, it's supposed to happen in your career, no matter what you choose. Even if you work in a 9 to 5, you work in a 9 to 5 your whole life. You want to be the employee, don't you want to be the manager at some point? Everything is just about
going up.
Exactly. So like, you know, like since then, you know, like even with, you know, school and work going for you, things are just going up left and right. I've been noticing a couple artists been consistently working with you, you know, even a couple of, you know, Philly artists right here in the hometown. So, you know, who are some of these underground artists that you want to give a shout out to, and you want to explain how, like, you know, that really came about in the, you know, your new beginnings in, you know, 2020, 2019 recently?
Yeah, it's a lot of artists in Philly I work with. Shout out to all the underground artists I work with. Like, they not even big yet, but I see the potential in them, you know what I mean? So I'm a person that like to work when I see that shit. So shout out to Phat Geez, you know what I mean? We chopped it up, talked, did some shit. Shout out to who else, man? Shit. Shout out to Lil Muk. Everybody, man. Like, I work with so many artists, and it's just, I can't keep count now, but it's like, I'm always willing to find a new artist too, who's like, who got potential, you know what I mean? I'm willing to work with.
That's what it's about. It's just about
and I
potential.
just keep going, man. I just keep going. Shout out to YCS Meer. I'm working with him. Who else? Keeso. Shout out to Keys. Everybody.
So, you know, Lil Muk and Phat Geez, because they are, you know, two artists that they've been making a name for a minute. Definitely shout out to Lil Muk and Phat Geez. Explain the story on how you actually linked up with those two. We can start with the Phat Geez story first, because Phat Geez, he a legend in the city. I definitely have to hear that.
Shout out to them, man. I mean, I'm a person, like, if you really want something, just see what's up with it. You know what I mean? So the story actually with both of them happened the same. I just hit them up. Like, yo, I got beats, man. Like, I see y'all working. I see y'all trying to put out some new shit. I just put my foot forward and was like, let me send y'all some shit. You know what I mean? They rock with it. Shout out to them. That's pretty much how those went about.
So, and this is something that I already know, but I'm not really gonna give my perspective on it, because I feel like we both have the experience of different attitudes and mindsets of artists that you deal with, because I feel like producers definitely need this gem before I actually really get into it. What's the difference between some of the artists you've noticed, like, with the mindset about how they want to work with you, about how they approach you, and even how you approach them?
What you mean, like how, what?
Like, for example, let's say, you hit an artist up, and you say what you say, like, yo, I see you working, I'm trying to work with you, this, that, and the third,
right,
and I'm trying to send you some beats.
Right.
What has been, like, some of the different responses you've gotten from, like, certain, rappers, from, like, from positive to negative, like...
I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot of negative shit. I ain't gonna lie, but that didn't stop me from keep reaching out, you know what I mean? I got a lot, I mean, a lot of dudes, they don't really care for that, you know what I mean? A lot of dudes just go to YouTube and steal a beat. That's how a lot of dudes would do it, but somebody that's really serious about their shit, you know what I mean? They'll hit you up and be ready to purchase your shit, you know what I mean? So I'm always willing to follow, like, whoever is serious.
Even if it's not purchased, I'll say for the example, because
even if it's not purchased, you're right. Like, just working with you off the
Because that's what I'm saying. Because I know some people that I know you've seen potential with certain artists.
Right.
You work with them off the strength,
Exactly.
but it's like, is it more so the approach that they give you of why you work with them?
Not really. I think I'm just a person that's like, I just like to work. So, I mean, I got a lot of negative responses. I got a lot of positive responses. You know what I mean? You just gotta keep going, man. If somebody reject you, somebody don't check you out like you want them to, or somebody don't really want to work or extend their hand, you just gotta keep going, man, because somebody will eventually. So
For sure. So, what do you have next? Planned for 2021? Some of the artists that you're working with now. Do you have any EPs? Any projects that you're working with somebody, like full hand, not even just singles?
That's a secret right there. Nah, but I'm working with a lot of artists. I said, shout out to YCS Meer, man.
I'm Gary say I'm looking at a little hint, but we not going to spill too much. We can't spill too much of the beans on that. So
he that's my homie, man. He's about to go up. I'm working with him. We got something big planned for the rest of 2020 and 2021. Shout out to Kiso. He working too. He also producing too. That's my guy.
TecDoeBanga. Oh man, I've been noticing, man. You and him just been dropping collabs left and right, man. And TecDoeBanga was also one of the original members of the Next Ent movement. Before the split and all that and everything. But TecDoeBanga coming back and just making beats now. Not only that, his shout out his. His editing, he does, honestly, if it's one thing, TecDoeBanga, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing about him, and cause we grew up with him. Behind the scenes work, y'all don't know, like a lot of behind the scenes work, he really, y'all gonna see, 2021, y'all gonna see for real.
Yeah, he doing his thing for real.
So, before we get into the next couple of topics, before we roll this next so, what's your intake on, the whole? I'm gonna ask you this because you actually make melodies. I don't make melodies, so you're a better person to ask this.
At least you honest.
No. Trust me. Like, I'm still practicing melodies, so
yeah.
I don't have the right. Like, I don't have the right to actually speak this.
Right.
So, what's your intake on the whole? People shaming producers using loops and everything.
Man, a lot of people, they care so much about that. Me, I do not care about that. Whether you made the melody, whether you just used somebody's loop, if the beat hot, the beat is hot. Either way, you still made it. You know what I mean? You entered your drums in, whatever, on the loop. You know what I mean? It's cool. Like you still made it. But I don't really care about that, man. I feel like either way you got talent, whether you made the melody or not. You feel me?
For sure.
If it's hot, you got talent. You know what I mean? Just keep, cause I ain't gonna lie, I make melodies, but I use loops too. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to all the loop makers.
2021, stop getting in y'all feelings, man.
Stop getting in y'all feelings, man. So what? So what? The beat hot, the beat hot.
That's what I be saying. 90% of my beats are collabs.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's networking, you feel me?
You know, like the mindset on, last season, your net worth is your network. You feel me?
Exactly. Right.
So, like, shout out to his mentor on that. But, have you, speaking of, like, the old, the Next Ent crew, have you caught up with anybody with the old crew on working anything?
Shout out to H.Y.P.e, man. He hit me up about doing a little project. So me and him, we about to link up and try to do some shit.
If you ask me my opinion, niggas been waiting on that since we was in Next Ent, bro.
Exactly.
You gotta do that shit, bro. Shit, if you gotta send me the melodies and I make the fucking drums, like, let's fucking do this shit, cause like, let's keep it a beam, like
2020, 2021, man.
Nah, man, a Mod Beats hype project, long overdue. Like that's like a decade long overdue. You feel me?
Definitely. Shout out to H.Y.P.e.
So, man, honestly, like, speaking of the old days, like, I can't forget all the old days we had, like all those studio nights.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I know we talking about new beginnings on, season 2, but at the same time, we're gonna bring up some of the old times we had. Like, what was some of like the favorite, like, studio times that we had?
Probably one of my favorites. Probably one of my favorites is recording that Seasoned Veterans project. Man, that was, and you was behind the engineering on that. So
how many nights did we record that shit?
That took like a whole week, 2 weeks.
Didn't I stay at your house like that whole week? What was that like?
We was cooking up, man. Yeah, we was cooking up.
Yeah, if I remember, I stayed at your house that whole week, and like, I think I made 2 beats on that project.
Yeah. Facts.
I engineered the whole project.
Yeah.
Nigga, I be smoking too much. Real shit. Like, that's crazy. Like that. Like that's something else I gotta add to the credits. Like, I really don't be like remembering a lot of shit that I engineered, but like, one of my favorite times, I think we had recorded So Amp. I think it was me, you. Who else was there that night? Me, you, H.Y.P.e, Keith. Calvin was with us that night, wasn't he? Yeah, he was with us that night.
I think Juan was too. Shout out my guy Juan.
Yo, we was so fucked up that night, bro. Like, bro, didn't we go through the whole list? I am fucked up. Yo, we went through the whole town just like fucked up for no reason, bro.
It was some good times, man.
Yeah, then we go back and record some more after that shit?
We definitely did. We ain't stopped. That's one thing about us, we ain't stopped.
Did we all crash that night, or did some of us leave?
I think everybody crashed, man.
I don't know. I would have to go to gang up for that one. But like, man, it's crazy. Like, people, it's crazy. Like, I can't say that like a lot of people can tell my story, but like, y'all don't know like what we did to make this music happen. Like they don't even know like what was that joint I had, like the big ass Windows XP laptop and shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, what was that, like the big ass like desktop and shit? I carried that, the monitor, the stand, the mic, and like a couple other things. I'll carry that like a big ass suitcase and walk all the way from like West Side all the way to fucking Baltimore Pike with that shit
to the county.
All the way to the fucking county. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like we, like, even though we ain't made it yet, like we been working. This is like 6-7 years ago we was doing this type of shit. Like, and I'm talking about, we wasn't taking no breaks, like wintertime, nothing. If it was snowing, I ain't give a shit. If I had my Ugg boots and shit, like, I ain't give a shit.
That's how dedicated we was, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just glad that hunger like finally coming back and shit. So it's like, you know, I noticed that you've been taking like the trap beats. You've been taking that shit like crazy. You've been killing the trap beats crazy. So like, have you been like thinking about, you know, entering another genre?
I have been, man. I even tried to mix it up a little bit. I got a couple rock and roll beats. I got a couple soul, neo soul, jazz. I've been trying to switch it up, man, because I like to work with all different type of artists.
You got rock and roll. I actually know those artists. You like just send them some drums for something. Just get the splits off that shit, bro.
I got rock and roll mixed with rap.
Oh no, like I got the perfect guy for you. You know, my guy drop out of my bro. We definitely gotta hear that shit, bro. You feel me? Like, you need somebody that will make a banger on that shit. So like, you know, we'll definitely, you know, when we get done, you know, done that episode, we definitely gonna roll some more, you know, feel me and shit. But like, you know, just all this planned out. Besides, you know, cause you my bro, so like, you know, we gotta talk big shit. We gotta talk big dreams. Like, we not just talking 2021 on this shit. Like,
right.
Where do you see yourself? Like, it don't matter if I'm in the picture or not. You know, like the one thing I believe in somebody's vision, because I believe the art of individualism. Like, I really respect
me too.
The art of individualism. No matter, it don't matter if you got a crew. It don't matter if your whole crew winning. Niggas is gonna be making moves on their own time. So, like, where do you really see yourself, like, in like the next like 10, like 15 years?
Oh man, shit. Obviously, as a big producer, man, I feel like we all gonna be up. You know what I mean? Because we are a group of consistent working people. I'm really taking this shit serious. So it's something I decided to take serious, and I see myself going far with it. I want to work with the big artists. You know what I mean? From Meek to whoever. You know what I mean? YG, anybody. So I see myself really getting my foot in the door.
Well, I definitely, you know, cause you know niggas know, like, I be linking motherfuckers too. So like, I definitely, you know, got some linked up people for you that, you know, I can't really discuss it on the episode, cause like, you know, they actually gonna be on episode 2, not episode 2. They gonna be on season 2. So you feel me? Like, you know, that's just gonna be sauce we gonna be dragging later on, but you know. You don't, like, at the same time, you plan, besides being like a big producer, you plan on like owning your own studio or like anything at some point?
Yeah,
like,
of course. That's something I've always been dreaming of, for real. Just having my own shit, my own studio, my own company, something. You know what I mean? I like to think big, so definitely.
For sure. Before we leave the very first episode of, you know, season 2. Does anybody, like, you know, give a shout out to that you haven't given a shout out to in the episode?
Man, shout out to everybody who fuck with me, man. I fuck with y'all. Shout out to everybody I name, all the artists I'm working with, all the new artists I'm working with. Y'all know who y'all are. Shout out to all y'all, man.
You think when the COVID over, you gonna go back to Vegas with Crucial?
Oh yeah, definitely. We gotta cook up in Vegas, definitely. We gotta cook up.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, like, what was the, you know, actually before, you know, we exited out, because I wasn't actually there for, you know, this, even though, you know, I want to go back in time with this. I wasn't there for this experience.
Right.
What was the experience of actually being with the artists rather than just talking to them online, you know, because, you know, we here in Philly.
Right.
You know, we here on the other side, so, like, you could have just been talking to him on Twitter or whatever, and then, like, you know, just work with him then. What was the experience like actually just being with the artist in person?
It's definitely better than not being with the artist. You know what I mean? It's crazy. You get to really see and create shit together. You know what I mean? It's a good thing, man. Like, when y'all both creating together, y'all both on it. So y'all making history for real. But it's definitely a good experience being with the artist, man. You get to learn a lot. You get to see a lot. So I would definitely recommend that. To
Did
all
you
producers.
did you make any other connections while you were out there?
I made a couple connections. I made a connection with H.Y.P.e. Shout out to H.Y.P.e. From Vegas. We working on some shit. He actually was homies with Jimmy Wopa. Shout out to
Wapo, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
He is his own, man. I miss Wapo, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But for sure, man. Like, you know, this is the first episode where, you know, we actually had, you know, a guest show up, you know, to the podcast office and, you know, actually chat it up and actually get lit with. And, you know, it was definitely great, you know, having you for this episode, bro.
I appreciate you for having me, man. You already know.
You already know. If y'all want to follow my guy, make sure y'all follow him on Instagram at mod_beats, MOD_beats. You know, make sure you check out, you know, his latest beats, daily uploads, rappers. Start cropping this shit now before the bag goes up. I already told you niggas to open the bag.
Check out my main profile, Marty Pippin. I upload beats there too. You know what I mean? MODDYPIPPEN.
Yeah, I'm Gary said. If you want to see how he winning, check out the main page. You feel me? I was giving out the professional page so, you know, get them couple sales, but you feel me? Like, you know, at the same time, like, you know, them daily uploads. Like I said, I've been told this nigga to go open the damn bag. You know, just like I be telling the whole label to go open the bag. Our beats is, you know, getting up there, like,
hell yeah.
But, you know,
Had
at
to
the
up
same
my
time,
price, man.
y'all already know. I hope y'all enjoyed the first episode of season 2. And, you know, y'all already know how this goes. It's your boy 215 Got Beats, aka Streets, aka you already know this. Mod Beats in the building, Philly Zone 215, y'all already know. And we out.